go back to space.
Okay. Hi there. Thanks for all of your hard work and passion. And you wouldn't, DC Comics would, I wouldn't be a fan. I don't think any of us would be a fan if you hadn't put in all that hard work. So thank you very much. This question is directed to Jeanette. And it's really dealing with how, again, when I picked up the comics, I realized I think it was in the 80s. How did you know about Watchmen? And all, you know, like, how did that come about? How did you know that it was going to be such a great hit?
I don't think we knew, but as the issues started to come in, it was truly mind-blowing to see those pages. And the excitement in the office, the level was so high. We were all, you know, running in and out of each other's offices saying, look at this, look at this. So, you know, if we were any kind of litmus test, and I know we were just a small test group, but the excitement in the office, and this was borne out. I mean, you know, it's one of the greatest comics of all time, and it turned comics and us on our heads.
Thank you.
Actually, there's a funny story. I don't know if I validated, but I think Al Gordon, who was an anchor, was like a huge Watchmen fan, and my understanding is that he'd come to the offices to see the black and white copies. And then Mike Carlin actually took one of the issues and changed all the dialogue and gave him like a copy of it with like adulterated dialogue. That really cut down and everything. He's like, oh my God, what are they doing? And it's like, I don't know if that ever happened or not, but.
I just want to say it's so cool to see all of you up here. I was raised on these comics, so it's really exciting for me. And this question is kind of for anybody who can answer it. It's kind of recent. What was the reasoning behind changing Wonder Woman? If anybody can answer that.
Dan, Jeff, Jim?
If I could go back, no. You know what? It was a point. It's funny that a costume change would attract this much attention. We sort of knew it was. I think Paul was here and remember the haircut? The infamous haircut? They cut Wonder Woman's hair just for one issue, and we're like, all of a sudden it's in fashion segments, it's in fashion papers, it's all these things going on, and we didn't understand what happened. And that's when Paul explained to us, you have no idea how much even the most superficial changes to these characters affect the psyche of America.
That's right.
Pretty much that was one of the things we were aware of. And Wonder Woman, as a point, was a little stalled in the storytelling. We wanted to get people interested again. We had a really exciting story coming on board, and we thought we had a story reason for it, and it's not a trick you do many times. And it's not like the original costume's gone, but we had Jim on board as a person to help design it, and more importantly, we felt that it had a good reason to be in the comic that was being told. And it doesn't mean the other one doesn't exist, it just means that this is what we're doing right now. Okay, thank you.
Next.
In addition to the recent Wonder Woman change, DC's really well known for some rather twisted characters in races, Batman, Crisis, etc., etc. Are there any near changes that almost happened but didn't quite make it past that anyone can care to comment?
I really wanted to kill Dick Grayson. He's the one who stopped it right there. He's the one who survived.
Next.
This question is for everyone. Obviously, you've worked with a lot of creators who have either retired or moved to something else, or who have passed on. If you could pick any creator to start working at DC today, through all of history, who would that be?
Quick one, lightning round. Let's get a couple answers.
Denny O'Neil.
Jack Kirby.
Anybody else?
Curtis One. I'd probably go back to Curtis.
Jerry, this is an interesting one for you. Anybody? You're a historian. Maybe somebody who never worked at DC.
Well, I worked next to Jack for a long time, and I love to collaborate with Jack. And maybe do a new feature with Bill Finger.
Cool. Okay. Thanks.
Respond, amazing. I just want to ask you, I heard of something called the Wonder Woman Foundation recently, and what is that? I heard you started it, and I don't know anything about it.
Wonder Woman was turning 40, and we wanted to celebrate that. And so I actually got together with Gloria Steinem, because Gloria herself was a huge Wonder Woman fan. She grew up in East Toledo, Ohio, on the wrong side of East Toledo. And she thought there was no way out short of becoming a Las Vegas showgirl. And then when she was 7, Wonder Woman was published. And here was this strong, beautiful, independent woman who could kick ass, and she thought there is another way. And so Gloria had been responsible for putting Wonder Woman on the cover of the first issue of Ms. Magazine, and she was stopping crime with one hand and feeding the hungry with the other. So I asked Gloria to lunch and said, I want to do something, I want to establish a foundation to honor women. And out of the lunch came the idea of, since Wonder Woman was turning 40, and honoring women who were 40 and over, and not in traditional categories like medicine and the arts and business, but in those areas that characterize Wonder Woman, like women pursuing equality and peace, women taking risks, women helping other women. And the foundation's only lasted for 3 years, but in that time we must have honored over 45 women, and we gave them unrestricted grants. And the women were extraordinary. They came from all over the country, and we would have luncheons in which we would honor them, and they would tell their stories, and they were presented by equally extraordinary women, and there was never a dry eye in the house.
Just to give you a sense of the dimension of the extraordinary women that Jeanette organized through that, the one that is most vivid to me is the woman who was a polio victim living in an iron lung, who organized the hospital patients from her iron lung into an association to change the rules of the hospital.
She did the first Patient's Bill of Rights, actually.
It was an astounding story. Next question.
While you're waiting for this panel, I had to sit in the Marvel panel, and
We're sorry.
someone asked, when are we going to see Marvel versus DC? And they said, ask DC, because they're the ones that aren't going forward with it. Throwing that out. Marvel versus DC, is that going to...
It's Central Park next Thursday, DC versus Marvel.
Next. And then also, Paul, I really liked your Batman annual, which I think brought Terry McGinnis into continuity. I think that's the first one. Was that your idea to bring Batman Beyond into continuity?